If you like this episode, please subscribe, share with others, rate and review so we can continue to bring you great programming.
This is The Thing About Cars, a podcast for car enthusiasts and the people who love them.
So yeah, Misty's probably glued to the tube and is not monitoring her communications.
Which reminds me, did you guys see the article I put in our group about the fangirlification of F1?
No.
Yes, I did.
I thought of Misty when I saw that.
Fangirlification?
And she'd if she read it, she'd probably say, "Oh, that's not me."
So wait a minute.
And I would probably agree with her because some of the points in it,
Well, can you summarize it real quick, Ben? Because I did not have the time to.
Oh, you say, yeah, actually, let's talk about it. Start the show, and then we'll do it.
It's recordings in progress. This is The Thing About Cars. I am one of your hosts, Mickey Desai. Today, it's just us guys around the table. We have Ben. How are you, Ben?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. And Dave, how are you, sir?
I am excited.
Yes.
Intrigued. It's time change. I get an hour more of sunlight. Life is good.
Hour more of sunlight.
You know what? I'm like a really delicate ficus. More sun you give me, the better.
Dave's a delicate ficus. Is that your new nickname for us, Dave?
Delicate ficus.
Delicate ficus.
It's actually would be nice to have a nickname that was not an anatomical reference.
Okay, then.
You stupid pancreas.
Funny, that's not where I was going for the internal part of the body. Yes. Anyway, so Ben, have you got a trivia question for us?
I do, yeah. Now, if anybody is listening to this in the future, as in diving back through old episodes some years from now, we are recording this in 2023.
Yes.
And this is the 70th, this year is the 70th anniversary of the Corvette. First entered production as a 1953 model year car.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the grand scheme of Corvette history, the question is, what is the one model year for which there was no Corvette? Was it 1961? Was it 1972? Was it 1983 or was it 1994?
What year was there no production model for the Corvette?
Correct,
Wow.
yeah.
I didn't know there was that.
Yeah, me neither.
There is a year that there was no Corvette.
The year without a Corvette. It's like the year without a Santa Claus.
Yeah, just seems wrong.
By the way, I love the fact that you did a disclaimer for people in the future. It's like, hello, people of the future.
Here are we, archaic, simpletons of the past.
Still with our internal combustion cars and carbon-based life forms.
Right. We're still affected by gravity.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah. So true. Okay, so we had at least slated for today's conversation the topic of importing and exporting a car. Like, not just how hard is it to do, but are there things to take care of? Are there what if I wanted to import a car, what would I as an American have to do? And that sort of thing. So how do we start that conversation?
I'm ready to go.
Do it, Dave.
Let's start it with the first place to go is the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Because when you are importing first off, so let's start with some basics of importing or exporting or shipping anything. You can't, for example, if you're going to ship something via air, whether it's an airplane, whether it's a document, a human heart, a car, you can't just show up to the airport and say, hey, I'd like to put this on your airplane. You have to be a known shipper, which is governed by the TSA. But before you even get to who's going to ship it, you want to know where and how to ship it. And so if you go to the EPA's website, that they have a section, basic importing and exporting, / importing a car. And there is a whole series of laws and documentation required, that starts with, what you can import, for asset control, prior arrangements, documentation, even instructions on you got to clean the undercarriage of the car. the car can't come in unless it's been thoroughly cleaned, because the Department of Agriculture, governs the import of pests and seeds and so forth. And one thing that a lot of people, when you ship cars in the United States, if you're moving from Atlanta to Waukegan, Wisconsin, people will take their car and they'll use it as a shipping container. So I'm going to put all of my clothes and my small appliances and my grandmother in the car and ship her to Waukegan. You can't do that internationally. Your car is not a shipping container. You cannot put any personal belongings into it. First of all, things
no smuggling.
No smuggling. Do not fill your car up with your 30 kilos of fine uncut Turkish hashish. Possessions are susceptible to theft. Everything's got to be inspectable. Everything has to be paid duty on it. So if you have bought and this is very common, especially for Mini Coopers, that Mini has a program. You can fly to the UK, watch your Mini get built, and then they will ship it to the United States. And some people want to say, "Oh no, I'll drive it and then I'll handle the shipping myself." And uniformly, 100% of them regret it, because professional companies, professional shippers know more what they're doing and can handle everything, as opposed to trying to make it up yourself, especially while you're out of the country in the UK.
Yeah, and an interesting aside to that is that I don't know if it's as much the case these days, but in years past, a lot of European brands, who would offer they call it their European delivery option or whatever, you can get in, vacation and get your car over there. And in a lot of cases, there was it was not an extra cost, and in some cases it was a small savings that would help offset some of your vacation costs. Although in today's day and age, I wouldn't expect that to be true.
No. And then, speaking of costs, you also have to pay duty on them. So if you buy a vehicle in anywhere foreign made, so any non-country, and you're bringing in, the duty on cars is 2.5% of the price you paid on it. The duty on motorcycles, depending on where you're coming from, is either free or 2.4%. The duty on trucks is 25%. So we can get into a whole entire discussion on protectionism in the Customs and Border Patrol area.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for the thing about unreasonable taxation.
Well, just
the whole episode.
Be glad that we're not Brazil, because they're draconian about it for everything.
Everything. It's entirely possible. When I was at Delta, I had an entire line item in the cargo marketing budget for freight that got seized in Brazil because we didn't do the paperwork right.
Oh, holy mackerel!
Yeah. Brazil is second only to the Vatican in complexity and secrecy.
What on earth are they protecting?
Well, their auto manufacturing industry, for one.
That's fair.
Actually, most of the manufacturing industries. And the second thing is that it is a seized freight, and taxes are basically taxes that you can levy without representation. So it's a source of easy revenue in some countries.
Yep. But okay, so the people who are making cars in Brazil, I'm just picking on Brazil because they seem like an easy target right now. There's still companies like BMW, Chevrolet, Ford, GM, Honda, Hyundai, or whatever you're going to say it. So, I mean, these are still multinational companies. Why? What is to protect in the Brazilian specific market? I mean, right? It's not as if they have there may be a solely Brazilian car manufacturer, but if I'm reading these names correctly, the vast majority of them are multinationals.
Yeah, the vast majority are. That's actually one of the reasons most car companies are multinational. Is it is cheaper, easier, and a little more politically palatable to make your cars in another country, as opposed to go through the complexity of shipping them there. Not always, but frequently.
Okay. So if I'm overseas, let's say I'm in Japan, and I see a JDM of some sort, Nissan Skyline vintage era that I want to bring over to this country, is the process for getting in here still essentially the same? Just go through customs? Is there anything I have to do with emissions standards and stuff like that, or does that only apply when I try to title the car?
I think that one's a very gray area. I think it depends. Ben's going to know more than this about than me.
Yes, one thing I can tell you is that if the car is at least 25 years old, you can bring it in. That's kind of the cutoff point. Newer than 25 years, it must comply with U.S. standards for emissions and safety and all the other DOT requirements.
Okay.
There is, I believe, a little bit of an exemption to that in what's known as the show and display permit. This is where, and this was something that a few rich guys, Bill Gates notably among them, basically lobbied for and got back in the 90s. And some of these really rich guys wanted to import some of those, like Group B homologation special cars from Europe.
Right.
Things like Porsche 959s and Ferrari GTOs that were never U.S. certified, and they didn't want to wait 25 years. So they talked to their buddies in Congress and got the show and display law passed, which allows you to bring in something younger than that. But as the title suggests, it's not going to be something you drive every day. It's something you're going to take to shows and put in a museum or something that you're limited to driving at 2,500 miles a year, if I recall correctly. And there's some other like taxes and expenses and paperwork that come along with it. So if you're just an average guy who wants to import a Datsun, not that any Datsuns have been made in the last 25 years, but you know what I mean. If you're a regular guy looking to import a regular car, you're not going to want to do the show and display route. You're going to want to stick to something 25 years old.
I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
That said, since Japan was kind of the country we got into this subtopic with, a lot of Japanese vehicles are really, really hot for import right now. What's known as the K class. That's K spelled K-E-I, not the letter K. I forget what it means in Japanese, but these are really, really small vehicles. They're, they're very, very small footprint, narrow track, short wheelbase. They're the kind of things you'd see driving around a factory over here. But they are apparently street legal, at least in Japan, and they've become a very popular import because they're cheap.
I've seen a couple of them here, but I've never seen any on the road. Yeah.
Owing to the fact that, anything that is even slightly cool anymore costs $1 million in auto enthusiast circles.
Right.
I read recently that somebody just paid something like $89,000 for a 92 VW GTI, which sure would have been a very unusually exemplary example, but still. The way that old and interesting cars are going money-wise is just so completely insane that people are looking at things like little sub-micro compact Japanese trucks.
Yep.
And they are very cool. They're unusual. They're quirky. I have seen a few on the road, and somewhere in one of my travels, I actually saw one of these little K trucks that was a fire truck. Would have been a fire truck for an industrial facility in Japan or something, but it was red and it had little hoses and ladders and things.
I've seen some K cars for sale on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
I've been tempted to get one.
And some of them are sporty little things, like the Suzuki Cappuccino, kind of a sexy little convertible. I don't think any of us would fit in it. Well, Misty might.
Well,
yeah, fit in a lot of things.
Welcome, Misty. How are you doing?
Late.
Were you fangirling over Formula One?
No, actually, it's on a Formula One weekend. I was actually in a game because it's like Pantheon wartime. So yeah, it was a game I don't play very often, but I get sucked back into every once in a while. So
sounds exciting.
I was hitting things.
For those of you in the audience just joining us, we are discussing imported cars.
Yes, we're discussing the import and export of vehicles, and we just got a rundown on essentially how to do it. And And now
Yeah,
we're
but
talking about K cars. Yeah.
but that's only valid for y'all because, the way the Netherlands is set up, they like tax everything.
Yep.
Like a car, if you go to Germany or Italy, can be anywhere from 5 to 10 grand cheaper. And you think, oh, I'll just buy it here
Yep.
and take it home with me. And the Dutch government goes, yeah, no. Yeah,
So
no.
here we
And
go.
I think that hits to something that's really important. It's because it is so different everywhere.
Yeah.
It is always worth paying a specialist. So there are car import brokers that
Yes.
are known shippers, have shipping licenses. Before I would ever buy a car, I would call up, somebody like Livingston International or Cole International or Cars Europe and say, hey, I'm considering buying this, Suzuki Cappuccino and bringing it to the Netherlands via Chicago. How do you suggest I do that? And the first thing they're probably going to say is, don't.
Yeah.
Right.
I know here in the Netherlands, and although that may have changed, my husband might have been ranting about that earlier this week. It used to be the only way it was cheaper was if it were a used car. But for a brand new car, don't even think about it because you're going to hit the border and the tax office is going to be standing there with their, with their cheaters and their clipboard going, I'm sorry, I think you owe me some tax here.
Right.
And I'm going to be like, I just gave you a kidney. God.
Another place that you can run into some interesting difficulties with importing a car is Australia. Yeah, because
importing into or out or exporting out of Australia.
Into.
Okay.
This is something I've learned from the Lotus forum I hang out in, and we have a few Australians in the forum who've talked about this, where Australia is so insane, anal, whatever you want to say, about asbestos, that if you're bringing in an older car, something from the 60s or 70s from back before asbestos was, kind of banned worldwide, you need to document that everything in the car is asbestos free, because if you don't have this documented, Australian customs will pretty much take the car completely apart to check everything for asbestos.
Well, I guess if you need to repaint it, that actually might be a.
You're just like, here, there might be asbestos underneath it somewhere. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that like the joke where the guy was talking, like sent the letter to his dad about bodies in the garden because his dad was like getting too old to, and the police came in and dug up all of the vegetable garden spot, and the son was like, "You're welcome, Dad."
You're welcome, right? So here, Facebook Marketplace, 1993. Excuse me, 1993 Suzuki Cappuccino for $12,000. A 1999 Honda Acty Vamos 4x4 in Smyrna for 11,002. The cheapest one here, I think, is like a 6,000. There it is, $5,000 1996 Suzuki Every. And the K cars are here, but where do I go if I want to buy one new? To a dealership?
Well, you can't get one new because the new ones are not, because of their physical size and such, and the fact that they were never certified for the United States.
But I've seen some on a delivery truck here.
Yeah, they might be for industrial use.
Ah,
you can drive anything you want on private property.
Yeah.
There is an exception that 21 states do allow K trucks of any age to be imported as off-road vehicles.
Right.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing.
but some states don't allow them at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking on the Dutch version, well, my version of Facebook Marketplace. I can't find a Suzuki Cappuccino, but I just found a 1973 Datsun 240Z for $22,500.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty good deal these days.
Here's one for you, Ben. This has nothing to do with K cars, but it has something to do with importing. It's a 1979 Lada.
Oh God.
It's a Lada for $6,500. It says 79 and then it says 2013. So
I think I may have seen that ad.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it is a 2013.
A red four-door?
It is a red four-door.
Yeah, I've seen that ad. I didn't see the weird thing with the price or the year rather, but
Right.
yeah, that's a car I wouldn't take if you gave it to me. It's a Russian-made copy of a 60s or early 70s Fiat.
Yes.
It's like the early '90s. I think the Lada Niva
Yeah.
looked like the Renault appliance with less charisma.
All right. So
now I'm on this. I'm like going through because this place actually has a website.
so there really is
Oh,
no cost benefit to doing an import unless you really, really love the car that you want to import.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
do I want an AMX 390?
Yes. Next
Because
question.
well, this one is like, I mean, this one, okay, it is red with the black stripe, 1969 AMX 390 V8. The only thing is it's an automatic, but it's like 35.5.
Today on the thing about shopping for cars.
Yeah, we're just things things in your area, but
Yeah.
Well, and have you noticed the number of times that we have a show that involves us trying to convince Misty to buy cars just to piss off her husband?
Yeah.
oh no,
Look at that smile. Look at that smile. That's it.
The last time, I mean, the first time we brought up, a new car, all of you were like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
We've gotten over that.
Yeah, apparently, it's not.
We've all been introduced to the fascinating and entertaining world of CBD gummies, so
It's not your wallet, so I'm 99% no. Wow.
see, there you go. As long as you
Uh-oh.
have that reaction, I'm going to tell you to
What'd
get
you
it.
see
Well,
now?
this is
Well,
also
it's still this AMX 390, but I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
looking at how, I mean, it's got like the bucket seats and the. Yeah, y'all just keep on.
What's the
I'll
engine
be
in it?
383.
Okay,
Yeah, pretty decent block.
that's a big engine.
Huh. Yeah.
I don't think they came with the 383, did they?
Yeah.
No, they actually have a couple of them. Well, he's got like two of them.
Anyway,
Now I found the manual.
so here's my challenge to anyone who's listening to this episode at this point.
now or in the future.
Now or in the future. If you have ever imported a car into the US, please tell us about it. What did you import? Why did you import it? How did it go? Was it worth it? Those are the things I'm kind of curious about. We'd love to have you on the show to talk about your experiences. So please drop us a line via the website or just email us at thethingaboutcars@gmail.com. And let's have a little fun sharing those stories. But I think that's about it. What,
No,
Misty?
I have one final question,
Yes.
and maybe we could add this for to the guest question rotation. If money were no object, what is the one car that you would import into your current living location?
And that would be different from having a dream car question.
Well, I mean,
It wouldn't be different, maybe. I don't know.
well, it could be different because,
Yeah.
I mean, I can have a dream car, which everyone knows is the Lotus Elise. But would I definitely import a 1969 Camaro or something like that?
Ooh.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
I already got my answer to that one.
Yeah.
1923 Jaguar.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
good. What about you, Ben? What would you import?
Oh, yeah, give you about a week to narrow it down, and then of course, the following week it'll be different.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't know if I can settle on one thing.
Actually, if money were no object, I would just import all the Jaguars.
That's it.
That's a very good one. I mean, although I'm kind of leaning more towards this Austin Healey.
Yeah.
No, Austin Healey.
I would get some sort of military vehicle from Europe, something with 8 gigantic tires, an 8x8 monster truck. No, I don't know.
All right,
I honestly don't know what I would import.
All right, okay,
I'm sorry,
I
I'm just
changed my
picturing
mind.
you. Yeah, I'm just picturing you broken down on the side of the Atlanta connector in your Russian truck. I mean, your Russian tank.
That's like, Russian tanks are good at that, I hear.
Yes.
Yes.
They're very good at that. They're absolutely amazingly good at that. Okay, no, actually, I changed my mind because this place actually has a 62 Vet.
Jeez.
And
All right.
it is
Misty's
red.
getting moist again. So let's.
I'm in the Netherlands. It's kind of a, it actually snowed this week, and it was sideways snow, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And you violated the rule. We never use the word moist 2 weeks in a row.
Is that the rule?
Please consult your code of conduct.
By the way,
I'm the reason behind that rule.
Ben, what are you trying to say?
Say, Dave, you're going to have to adjust your car to import. There was no 1923 Jaguar.
Oh.
I just looked this up. I thought the year sounded a little squirrely.
I swore.
You swear all the time, honey.
Well, I do.
All right. That is it. Ben, how about wrapping up our trivia for today?
Right on. So, question was, 2023 is the 70th anniversary of the Corvette, debuted as a 1953 model year. And in that 70 years, there was one year that there was no Corvette. Was it if I remember the years I gave earlier, was it 1961, 1972, 1983, or 1994? Which one of these years had no Corvette?
Oh, gosh.
What you think, Misty? Since you didn't hear it in the beginning.
No, I'm sitting. Okay, yeah, just put me on the spot. Thanks, dude. I actually think it was 94.
Bet you, Dave.
I think part of me, I should know this because most of those are in my lifespan.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to go with 1983 because that's the year that I graduated from high school.
Mickey, what you think?
I have no logic, but I also want to. My first thought was also 94, and I have no idea why. Let's see. So what are my choices again? 61, 83?
61, 72, 83, or 94?
For variety's sake, let's say 72.
Well, if anybody's going to drive home in the little red Corvette, it's Dave. He's correct. 1983, right? Because that was when they were transitioning to the newer high-tech, Corvettes that have been with us ever since. So there was no 1983 model year because they spent a lot of time developing the 84. And you may recall the swoopy TV. It was like a 1.5 or 2-minute TV ad that they ran for these with this fabulous, music in the background where they're singing, "You've never seen anything like this before." And they had lasers and explosions and stuff. And they had like weird animals playing instruments when the narrator mentions the Bose sound system it came with. And yeah, I forget which actual. I think that was the C4, I think, that came out in 84. Yeah, that was like the big revolution. And they spent 2 model years developing it and getting it ready. There is a slight element of trick question to this, though, because if you go to the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, there is something on display that is labeled as a 1983 Corvette, and it's the C4 body style that came out for the public in 84. The 83s were just a group of prototypes. They were basically the 84 car, but they were, pre-production development cars. And I think the one on display is the only one they didn't crush or something like that. And it has different wheels.
It's really interesting. On one hand, I would have thought I would have remembered this because, I had a lot of friends and family had Corvettes when I was in high school. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't remember much about the year 1983 period. So I guess it's not that surprising.
Yeah, you're probably having a lot of fun, I'm guessing, since you graduated high school.
I'm starting to think that's pretty much par for the course because 1991, I'm like, I was there, I think.
I vaguely remember.
We might as well just call 1983, the summer of 1983, the summer of the beer bong.
Yeah.
I think I was in the middle of puberty at the time. I'm not sure.
Speaking of which, for those of you who don't know, this is the triumvirate of holidays week of the Thing About Cars.
It's true.
Last week was Dawn's birthday, also known as Donica, and then my birthday falls in the middle of the week, also known as the Feast of the Dave Divity, and today is Mickmas Eve.
Mickmas Eve, I like it. That's right. My birthday is coming up rapidly.
So that means, let's see, that's at least 4 of us that are spring babies.
Yes, absolutely.
Because mine is Easter Sunday, so I'm taking the whole 4-day weekend from Good Friday to Easter Monday. Very explicitly told my manager that since my birthday was on Easter Sunday, I would not be in any condition to be at work on Easter Monday.
So your birthday is now hereby known as the holiday of Meester.
Yep.
I like it.
I would call it Mister, but then that would lead us to the word moist again, and that violation of the code of conduct.
Yeah, we can't be saying the word moist too much.
All right. Thanks as always to our friends and family members and other folks for listening to us. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode of The Thing About Cars. And if you didn't, it's all Ben's fault. So
it always is.
Hashtag Ben.
Yeah, the reason Mickey doesn't have a peptic ulcer is he can delegate blame.
This is so true. That's right. So thanks again from all of us. We hope you're all staying safe out there on the roads. We will see you with another episode in about a week. Take care, everybody.
So
stay dry.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Thing About Cars. We'll see you on the road.